So yeah, to turn in a little bit more of the psychological of it. So the 50 miler, I had no idea really what I was doing. There were people that knew how to fuel their body, knew how to change thoughts in their mind to keep them going without being very stressed out. At the end, after the race, Dad drove me to Outback, and I passed out. I would mid-conversation stop talking, and I was nodding off on him because I had not consumed food in about 11 hours. And I had ran, I think about how many calories I burned running 50 miles.
Yeah, right.
My body, my brain chemistry was literally like kind of messed up.
Yeah.
And I've led to kind of enjoy that because that's where I know I'm getting better. So yeah, we did the 50 miler, and as soon as I sat down at Outback, I was like, Dad, I could do 100.
Most of us never learned how to train our brains, which is why most of us needlessly settle, struggle, and worse, suffer. My name is Chris Doris, and I want to make brain training mainstream. This is my series, Tough Talks, Conversations on Mental Toughness. I'm interviewing badasses from all walks of life on what mental toughness means to them and their unique approaches to strengthening their minds. Hey everybody, welcome back to Tough Talks, Conversations on Mental Toughness. And today we are very, very blessed to have a remarkable guest and with which I have a very fascinating story. It's cool. The synchronicity of how we even connected is awesome. But before I tell you that, we have a graduate of the greatest high school on earth who is now a student at Drexel University studying real estate and economics. Ryan Lange is with us today. Ryan is the youngest person ever to complete you're going to hear this correctly, okay, the first time, 200 plus mile foot race. It was actually 240 in Moab, which incidentally is, to me, a sacred place. I have my own stories of peak performance mountain biking there, Moab is an amazing place to discover your potential, right? And one of the things that I'm really excited about having Ryan on today for is because Ryan is uber confident in a way that we all have to learn from, and he's offered to offer us tips on how to turn motivation into drive and how to push through mental barriers. He's an ultramarathoner, like most people get intimidated when they hear, oh yeah, I do marathons. Well, he doesn't just do that. He does ultra marathons, and he's 20. Now let me tell you the story about how we even got together, all right? So I get an email from this kid. And he's telling me that he does these ultra marathons, and he says, he started it very strategically by saying, "I love your work." Brilliant. And I guess he had Googled the term mental toughness podcast, and I came up, which I'm happy to know about. And then he instantly reached out. He watched some of these episodes, and then he reached out and said, "I'd love to be a guest on your show," which first of all I think is cool as hell, right? That's bold. Most people wouldn't, especially at his age, wouldn't do that. To ask, just ask. So lesson number one, and he hasn't said one word yet, is ask for what you want. So I saw in his signature in that email that his phone number was included, and the phone number's area code is 609, which is South Jersey. That's where I grew up. So I replied to him. I said, dude, yeah, I've checked it. Yeah, you look fascinating. I'd love to have you on. But and I see that your area code is 609. Where's home for you? And he wrote back and said, I live in Medford. I went to Bishop Eustace Prep, and I'm at Drexel now. And I wrote back and said, dude, I went to Eustace, class of 86. And I looked at his last name, which I hadn't noticed before, and it's Lange, right? This is Ryan Lange. And I thought, no way. So I wrote him, dude, don't even tell me you're related to Chris Lange, who was one of my great buddies in high school. And he goes, that's my dad. So I immediately text Chris, right, Ryan's dad, my high school classmate, he and I who got in a lot of trouble together. And I said, dude, did you tell your son? Because I just hung out with your dad, like right before, like a few months ago. He was out here on business. And we hung out across the street and had a few good craft beers and a lot of laughs together, reminiscing. And so I said, dude, did you tell your son like about me? And that's what, and he said, no, man, I didn't say a word. Like he found you organically on his own. I thought that is unbelievable synchronicity. So all that being said, Ryan, thank you for making time, and sharing your wisdom with us, man.
No, I appreciate it. I've been anxious to finally get on, but we were waiting a little bit.
Yeah, we did. We had the delay, didn't we?
Yeah.
All right. So you know why? So I have a couple. So that let that be a segue because it's show and tell time. I'm going to start this off with a couple. I have 2 show and tell items. I'm going to show you, and you're going to tell me what the significance of them are. Okay. Now this is the obvious one. This is some of your running gear.
Exactly. For about 80 miles, about 90 miles.
Isn't that beautiful? So we're both diehard Eagles fans. We were supposed to do this interview last week, but I had to postpone because I had a conflict. And that was the parade.
Exactly. Had to be there.
Fun. Yeah, man. Yeah, so I appreciate your flexibility. Now, you ready for show and tell item number 2?
Yeah.
You got to tell me what this is. Dude, I had to search for this. I'll show you. I had to search for this, brother. And I'm so psyched that I found it.
No way.
Dude.
Is that your sweater
yes.
from high school? Yes.
It is my varsity, and if I touch this, it's going to fall off. This is my varsity sweater, dude. From Eustis. From Bishop
you
Eustis.
had to be a cool kid to be wearing that back then, so I guess you're pretty cool.
Do they still have these?
They do, but there's no big BE thing on it, and it's there's no buttons. It's just a pullover sweater.
This sounds cooler.
It does look pretty cool to me, honestly. A little more ventilation.
Epic. I love that. So that's our little stroll down history lane, and we're kindred spirits, dude, and we're just meeting for the first time now. So let's wrap, man. Let's drop some nuggets of value. Let's give our listeners some cool stories. And so let's just start off with, okay, how the hell did you get into ultra marathoning?
So I started freshman year. I was getting a little big, eating whatever, and all my high school years I was always pretty chunky, and I got really sick of just being called, fat. And a lot of people, I wasn't fat, but people would make fun of me. My buddies would bust all my balls, and I just got really fed up with that. So I finally said, I'm going to do something about this. So I started running like 2 or 3 miles down the river, and I started feeling like the man. I'm like, this is great. And then it's about 2-3 months in, someone told me I look good. And right there was like an addiction, like, I got to keep looking better. So I was like, screw it. I'm going to do marathon in November. At this time, it was like maybe late July, August. And I was like, whatever.
Hold on. Slow down a second here because there's a lot in here. How much time had passed between you saying, okay, I don't want to be fat anymore, I want to have a good physique, or I want to be in shape, and then the decision, and I'm going to do a marathon. How much time had passed?
Probably, all right, so I started really kind of run in May of 2015, and then in late July of 2015, I said I'm going to run a marathon. So then I'm sorry, this is 2016. So then I ran the November 2016 Philly Marathon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
right.
So I'd say May to November, July, August, September, October, 5 months-ish.
Incredible. Okay. Yeah. All right, cool. Continue.
So I crossed that finish line at the Philly Marathon, and I've never had a feeling like I had before. The feeling of working very hard and getting to the finish line. And the finish line might not be running a marathon. It could be business. It could be financial.
Sure.
It could be personal. It could be in a relationship.
Sure.
But putting in the effort, and it's all up to you. And getting to that point of success was a really good feeling.
Okay.
So I started looking at longer races, and I found a 50K out in the trails in North Jersey. So I was like, yo, Dad, you want to come, be my guy, my pit man, per se? And, he's sure, whatever. So he played on his laptop in the middle of December, huge snowstorm came. I was running in like 1.5 feet of snow. My hair was frozen. It was awesome. It was so awesome. And my dad started to kind of like being my pit crew. Like, what do you need? You need this, that, So then I was like, all right, that was fun. I fell in love with the trails there because I was doing road running, and the trails are so much better on your body, softer. So then I went and I did a 50 miler, and me and Dad traveled to North Carolina. It was down a beach, and at this point I had no idea how to fuel my body correctly at all or anything. So I ran 50 miles. It was like 9.5 hours.
What do you mean without? Wait a minute, hold on. So this is so confusing. I'm not a runner.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm not a runner. So like, you ran 50 miles at one time?
Right.
Like without stopping?
You walk when your stomach gets a little upset, but there's no elevation. So yeah.
Like you never sat down?
Because when you sit down, your brain starts getting into "I'm done." You know what I mean? So
I don't know what you mean. I want to know. Tell me about this. This is the stuff that I'm interested in. I think this is the stuff. You're going way too fast, brother.
Sorry. I apologize.
But no, don't apologize. Because what's interesting, an observation I'm already making, is that you're telling this story. Like, yeah, I started running, and a few months later, I was like, okay, let's do a marathon, and you did that. And you're just like, this is normal, right? And I want you to talk about that because I know something that you keep saying like in your bios and stuff is that, and in your interviews, and I know you've done plenty of podcasts, and Drexel, your school has done a piece on you, at least one, and you always say, I'm just an average dude who's doing cool stuff, and we've all got this in us. And that I'm really fascinated. So we're going to hit that point. But one of the observations that I'm making is that, like, you're like, I think it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, you are too busy being excited about what you're doing to talk about it, right, in a way that's like, well, here are the segments. I'm too busy because you just go casually like. So then I decided to do a 50 miler, and we're like, right! People don't just decide that I'm going to do 50 miles. Well, I guess they do. You do, right? And you're talking about it as if it's so normal.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. and I guess to you it is normal. It's just the next progression. And then you went and you did this 240-mile thing that happened over, 5 days?
It took me 86 hours, so like 3.5.
My bad. Yeah. Okay. So hopefully we'll get into the psychology of all of this, and and we'll talk about the struggles and stuff. So I interrupt. Oh, the other observation I made is I want to say something to your dad, Chris. How does it not come up when you and I are hanging out, having a few beers? How does this not come up? We're talking. Maybe we're just too busy talking about Eustace days, but like, what? How do you not have to just, and by the way, my son's an ultramarathoner, which might have some mental toughness involved in it. We'll talk, I'm going to text you later. We'll get to that. All right. So anyway.
To turn in a little bit more of the psychological of it. So the 50 miler, I had no idea really what I was doing. There were people that, knew how to fuel their body, knew how to change thoughts in their mind to keep them going without being very stressed out. After the race, Dad drove me to Outback, and I passed out. I would, mid-conversation, stop talking, and I was nodding off on him because I had not consumed food in about 11 hours, and I had ran, I think about how many calories I burned running 50 miles. Yeah, right. My body, my brain chemistry was literally like kind of messed up.
Yeah.
And I've led to kind of enjoy that because that's where I know I'm getting better. So yeah, we did the 50 miler, and as soon as I sat down at Outback, I was like, Dad, I could do 100. And like I said, I really loved that feeling of working super hard and getting to that point of success. And you talk about, I'm so casual about it. I think it's because I found a passion, something that excites me, something that makes me better. It's not just playing video games. It's not just partying all the time. It's something that you take production and you take happiness, and I put those together with the running. And I've met so many people. I've learned so much about myself. And to revolve this back to what you were talking about, I am your average dude. I am nothing special. I was not born with any special skills, any strengths. My high school friends are like, dude, what? You're just like Ryan Lange. Like, like you were never like, you know what I mean?
You're
And
just
they're not,
Ryan Lang.
no, like they're not being rude saying that. I preach it all the time. Like all my friends, I'm like, if you put in the work, you could do this too. Like it is not something that I was born being very good at. You know, there are people, I think 95% of this world is born average, but there's those people that take potential, take what they see that they can do in this world, and they become almost obsessed with it and wanting to live their full potential and to get outside of, you know, just being that, you know, that normal person. Now I'm not. My friends don't just be like, oh yeah, like Ryan, that's my buddy from high school. It's like, oh, like Ryan, like, you know, and I'm not trying to sound cocky here. Like, yeah, Ryan, that kid, he's tough. That's what I've wanted. I want people to think of me like that, and it's turned into like now, you know, an aspect of you know, being mentally tough. Now I celebrate other people that are, you know, wanting to do better with, not if it's just running or anything that they're passionate about. I reinforce that when they're talking to me, and I think that's because I've, you know, built this mental strength, this mental fortitude. It just excites me to see other people feeling that experience of finding that passion and getting really good at it.
That is really profound, dude. You just said a whole lot there. So one of the clarification questions that I have for you is, you said when you were starting this, you didn't have really the knowledge of how to nourish and how to deal with the psychological challenges. Talk to me about what are the psychological challenges. You've learned, obviously, how to nourish.
Right.
All right, and that's a technical thing. And there's probably a lot of people that can give you advice on how to nourish, right? A lot of advice givers, a lot of experts in running. It's probably like that information is probably pretty accessible on how to nourish appropriately when you're running really long distances. How about the information on how to stay tough? Where do you learn that? And tell me, first of all, okay, so this is a two-part question, all right? Mm-hmm. If you forget the second part, I'll remind you. The first one is, what are the tools? Like, what do you use? What do you do when you're running? And where did you learn them?
So one big tool I have found that I call it like the distraction tactic. So I listen to a lot of podcasts. Podcasts are great because I listen to you with your viewers, and I start stirring up my own thoughts and my own intuition, my own thought process of what I could be talking to you about today. And that's out, and boom, 2 miles just went by like that. So it's a little bit of a distraction, kind of, when you get into this running, or, to tie it back into business, into your workflow, time just kind of goes by fast, and there you go. You were just productive for 2 hours, and you just had all these great thoughts. But another thing is when you're feeling a lot of pain, that kind of goes away. So that takes a lot of practice and a lot of, and I could lead into later, like my techniques of what I've been doing, going out there and putting in the work. And it sounds very cliche, but there's so many people today that think it's all just going to come to them, and that they're just going to be a mental monster as soon as they want to go do something.
Okay, hold on. Slow it down again. I'm going to just keep slowing you down, brother.
It's totally okay.
Okay,
sorry.
Because there's no, don't apologize. It's just, I love your enthusiasm level, dude, but I got to slow you down so that we don't miss stuff. Okay, because you moved on from what did you call it, the distraction technique or something?
Distraction tactic. Yep.
It's a distraction tactic. All right. So, so what you're saying is, like, when you reach a point in your body is sending you pain signals. Your advice, or it's not necessarily advice, I guess it could be, but you're saying that your tactic is, at least one of them, to not succumb to that.
Right.
Is to choose to pay attention to something else.
Right.
Right, which is called selective attention in sports psychology. That's the term for that, selective attention. But what is it that you like? What kinds of things do you choose to attend to? Because you don't want to think about something else unpleasant.
Right. No.
That's not going to help you, right?
No.
So what qualifies as the new thought content?
Going on a comedian's podcast and having him say funny shit to you where you're laughing instead of thinking about, damn, my calf is so tight right now. You're thinking about what he just said.
Wow.
Sometimes
you listen to comedy when you're running?
Yeah, definitely.
Roger that. All right. I love that.
Sometimes it's tough, but audiobooks are good. because in order for me to comprehend, I need to vision something in my mind. Wow. So if I'm listening to a book, I'll think about what's happening in that book, and you get in you get in your in your mojo, and you're on a good pace. You just forget about everything, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, oh crap, I'm running. You know what I mean? It's good stuff that I think that you could tie into business and more.
This is really you tied in everything, dude. I'm thinking about when people are having struggles in their lives. I don't like coach people into ignoring reality. I coach people into seeing it as useful. Pain might be a different thing. Honest to God, I'm not a pain expert. I'm not, so I'm not even going to pretend to be. But I love what you're saying because there's so much metaphor to this, which is that at least at times, when you're going through hardship in life, in any category of life, right, that there is great value in choosing to direct your attention towards something inspiring. That is what I'm taking from what you're saying right now, and I couldn't love that more. And because what happens is, I guess, two things. One is you stop spiraling down by paying attention to the uncool deal, right? In this case, pain when running, and instead you spiral up, right? By creating, by listening to comedy, joy, right? Yeah. And humor, because when you're in those states, which are the high grade states, you're releasing the chemicals that have you be stronger. It makes perfect damn sense,
right?
Or at minimum, so give me an example of like a book on tape, an audio book that you listen to when you're running. Is it like stories? Is it fiction? Is it nonfiction?
Yeah, it's more so fiction.
Okay, so you get lost in a story.
Yeah, like Moby Dick is a great one because it's something. I'm not much of a nonfiction guy because that's very, I don't know, I feel like it's sometimes turns into more textbooky, and that just brings me back to, I feel like I need to be memorizing this kind of stuff. Entertainment more, fiction, stories, something that I can put in my head and I can envision the whale, I can envision the ship, I think about that, and it's just, that's what I've evolved to, and I turn to whenever I'm going out down that trail.
Man, that's super fantastic. So I want to go backwards to something I thought about, but I got too distracted by all the great stuff that you're saying, which is I want to go back to the pain before you even started running. The emotional pain, sure. Right? Okay, because we all experience that. That's a fact that every human being, right, by virtue of being alive, will experience emotional pain, right, and maybe dissatisfaction with how their life is. Right? And that was the impetus for you to even take up running, which you've discovered now is an incredible passion of yours. This is bringing all these great things that you probably didn't even anticipate, all of the great things, right? Like the way that you're supporting other people when they find their passion. Your ability to serve other people now has become like a spontaneously evolved byproduct of you choosing to pursue your passion, but it came out of pain, right? And you, at some point, you made a decision, and it could have been running. I guess it could have been a million other things, maybe. But before you said, "This is enough."
Yep.
How did you stay in that? Like I don't know, whatever the emotion that you would call it. You didn't use one, so I don't want to put words in your mouth, Ryan. But the dissatisfaction that you were feeling, with being out of shape or overweight.
Yeah, mid high school into first year college, so about 2-3 years, I was really and towards the end of the third year, I got really fed up with it and finally found, it wasn't that I wanted to do something about it, I finally found a way that I could do it and enjoy it.
Okay, so that matters too. All right, that's a nugget, right? Oh, that's huge. Okay, so so when you say do it and enjoy it, what's the it?
It as in running. Running is I found how to get rid of this dissatisfaction within me.
That's it. So running is right. So how to take care of the thing that I don't like, how to address it, right? How to attack it, how to work, quote, on it. Right. And I say quotes when I say the word work because you're not working. Right. Now, everyone in the world is going to see, the dude's running 240 freaking miles, for God's, of course it's work. And you said, yeah, you got to put the work in, but you're passionate about it, and you're telling me these stories about things that you do mentally and psychologically to distract yourself from the pain and the strain, even though it's real and happening, in order to keep going, and you're entertaining yourself. Mm-hmm. This is so freaking great, dude. So what I'm learning from you right now is that, so every person has, I don't know, again, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you said you're an average person. Mm-hmm. You're an average person. You're doing amazing things.
At my best, I am average.
All right. And you became dissatisfied with a set of circumstances in your life, physique, weight, health. Mm-hmm. And then you made a decision, right? And that's huge. That's a turning point. A lot of people wait their whole lives or many, many more years than 3. You waited 3 maybe, to make a decision, to say enough is enough. I'm no longer going to tolerate this set of circumstances, right, in my life. I'm going to do something about it. And on top of it, I'm not going to have it suck. Right? I'm going to figure out a way to have it be fun.
Right. And I could touch on that. People where people go wrong is they don't find that way to have fun. So they have this motivation, mm-hmm. and motivation comes and goes. It's not something that's always there. There's the drive that's always there. So people, they do something that sucks. They have this motivation to just pump through it, but they don't find the fun in it, so they can't find being driven in it. They can't find the purpose in it. And that's where I think a lot of people go wrong. And that's where I've kind of figured out these ways of turning that motivation and spinning thoughts in your head to build that mental toughness to then inspire that drive and just keep going.
So you're talking to a college buddy, right? And you're talking about, and he's asking you the questions about this ultramarathoning and stuff, and doesn't it get in your head and all that? And you might drop the term mental toughness. And if somebody said to you, you keep saying that, you keep talking about mental toughness, man. Like I know what that means because I read Sports Illustrated and I listen to sports commentators and stuff. But what does that really mean?
Being capable to transcend the pain while also being willing to embrace the hardship, or like I like to say, embrace the suck.
Okay. I'm going to note that one. That one's getting noted.
But to break that down, when I say transcend, I'm saying, possess that ability to rise above, rise against that uncomfortable or bad feeling. And that takes time to build up. Some people it takes longer. But overall, that's what I mean in that first statement. And to embrace the suck, you got to be determined and passionate about embarking on bad feelings to get to your ultimate goal, to get to that point of success. I read a book called Breaking Buds. It was an audiobook. And it was about this guy that went through Navy SEAL training. And there was this one other person going through Buds with him, which is their last set before they become a SEAL. Okay. And this guy was saying how much he loved pain. Pain is awesome. And that guy ended up dropping out. And he came to a point where no one's going to love pain. It's not something that anyone enjoys. The only thing you could really do is embrace it. And in your head, know that pain is going to get you to the finish line eventually. Maybe not right now, maybe not in a year, but you are building your way to that ultimate goal. So live in that moment and know that you are on your way. You're taking another step down.
Wow. You know what you just reminded me of? And this is not from the world of exercise or physicality whatsoever, but as I'm thinking through, it might as well be. There's a phrase that I learned through the world of psychology and coaching, right? And spirituality and personal development. And it's that pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. And you just reminded me of that because it's like when you said the pain is going to be there, it's not really, doesn't sound realistic to believe that you could ever love that, but you can embrace it is what you said. So the distinction between pain and suffering, as I understand it, is that pain becomes suffering when you judge it, right? When I judge it as a problem. So if I could just have it, that's so cool. Because one of the ways I train my mind is actually when I go to the dentist. All right, because I'm going to sit in a chair. I mean, if I'm like not just even if I'm getting anything like a deep cleaning or beyond, like a cavity refill or any kind of stuff that's going to involve, needles and drilling and all that shit. So it's like you sit there and you can my body tenses up. I'm grasping the arms and I'm like, dude, relax. So it's an amazing practice. Right, and you're totally reminding me of it, which is that. So I'll talk to myself when they're drilling, and I'm saying to myself, oh, this sucks. I can't wait till this is over. Now I'm suffering. Right, so then I release the suffering when I say to myself, no, it's just pain. It's simply a sensation, and my teeth are getting amazing right now. Right, so I'm finding the meaning in it. Are you with me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I couldn't tell if the thing froze or not. So yeah, we did just have a little technological freeze there. Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you now.
All right,
sorry.
Cool. So did you hear what I was saying about the
Yeah, I
dentist
did.
stuff?
That is so weird because I literally have written down on my outline. I'm in the process of I want to be a little bit thinner for this upcoming race season. So instead of thinking when I'm hungry, because thinking, oh man, I'm hungry, this sucks. I think, no, you're winning. This is the feeling you need to get to that goal. That's literally like what you just said.
Yeah, man. Oh, that's okay. So all right. Let's stay on that for a moment for the listeners as another takeaway, right? That is simply a reinterpretation. So that's a mental toughness tool right there. Is exercising choice on how to interpret a circumstance that isn't adverse. It just is. But that you might consider to be adverse. Okay, so you're getting trimmer, you're getting thinner for the next race season, right? And you said when I get hungry, so most people would say, and you choose not to eat, right? Or you choose to eat very little or whatever you do,
right?
All right, but you're not fully satiating the hunger, and most people would interpret that as this sucks, this is such a drag, right? And but what you're saying is. Say again exactly what you just said. This is I'm winning?
I am winning.
This is you winning.
I literally look in the mirror and say, you're the man, you're winning, keep going. And it's a little weird.
No, it's not weird at all. That is so not weird. Don't downgrade it by saying there's nothing, but it might seem weird, right, to people who don't get it. Who don't get it.
What I meant.
But you're teaching them right now.
Right.
Dude, I can't wait to listen to you when you're 50. Seriously, man. You're like a wizard already. This is great. So I don't know, what else do you do, man, to train? What else do you do in life to strengthen your mind?
So I found my outlet of building my mental toughness has mainly been through running.
Yeah.
So when I'm going and doing these races, I'm very clear, refreshed. I eat super healthy. I do no caffeine before my races. And so to make that even easier, I'm going to go ahead and do the opposite for like this past marathon. The night before we had a party at my fraternity. So me and my buddy DJ, I was up until party was till 2, till 4 we were still partying, and then I have that dark 2 hours until I have to get ready to go to the marathon and run the marathon. So everyone's asleep at this point, so I come back here around 4:30 and I'm eating some food and I'm really starting to get very tired. And I'm still in like party mode, still feeling pretty nice, and it becomes to where the sun's almost coming up. So what I do is I'll do a quick 2 or 3 minute nap right as the sun's coming up. So then I wake up and I say to myself as I'm looking at the sun, wow, I slept really well. When in reality I didn't sleep.
Keep going.
And then so I'll walk over to the start right at the Art Museum at around 6:30. I'll bring a coffee with me, and I'm obviously not in race form, but by making it so much tougher on myself and being so exhausted, and I obviously didn't eat enough the night before either.
Right.
So draining myself of energy and then going and run a marathon.
A marathon? A marathon?
Yeah.
Let me just clarify. I don't know if I'm hearing this correctly. Okay, I just want to, because I suspect that I'm not the only one listening to this that's going, hold on, did I just hear him say what I think he said? You stayed up partying at a frat party till 4 a.m.
Right.
The night before the morning of a
marathon.
marathon.
Right.
And you went and ran a marathon.
Yeah, I'm about like 2 minutes of sleep because when I'm out there on the 200 miler, I'm not sleeping much, so I need to be comfortable with that feeling in my head of not much sleep. Or if I drop my bag of pancakes that was in my backpack when I was running, I need to be comfortable with being so low on energy that I start bonking is what it's called. It's a term where your body just totally runs out of energy and you feel awful. So I need to be familiar with that. I need to be comfortable and know that pain in my head to be able to be better at it when I'm not malnutritioned and no energy.
So you're saying to me that you used the Philadelphia Marathon, you created an adverse set of circumstances for yourself to go complete a marathon, sleep deprived, you drank the night before, right? You didn't have any food, right? And you ran a goddamn marathon, 26.2?
Yep.
Under those circumstances, so that you would be able to, because you're going to do a 200 miler at some point, and you need, so that's why you didn't just do that because that seemed like a good idea, and
right.
Exactly.
So
that was a training reason.
It has purpose to it.
And you weren't planning on winning that marathon.
No, I'm shocked.
Right. Good. I'm just clarifying. You didn't give a shit where you finished in that marathon.
No.
You were just creating a set of circumstances in advance. You were making the playing field extremely challenging for you. Right. Which is just like when people are working out, when they're doing pull-ups, if they're in really good shape, they tie the 45 pounds around their waist so that there's more resistance.
Right.
So that was your okay. I wasn't clear because you didn't preface it like that, so I didn't know where you were going with it. So I was very captivated by that story. That's amazing. But you did finish, huh?
Yeah, it was actually one of my best times. I finished my best time, 2 minutes by my best time. So
you should get drunk the night before when you go run. You just run drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
So it started at the. Is that artwork, piece of art? Is that the skyline of Philly right there?
Yep.
You're the best. So, and you just pointed over to your right. Are you close to the art museum?
I'm facing South Philly, actually. So,
okay.
I am literally I'm about 0.7 miles from the art museum.
So you're just about on the parade route.
Yeah, right there.
Did you go to the parade?
I did. I went to the art museum to watch the infamous speech of Jason Kelsey.
I should get that guy on this podcast, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That was just so epic. Dude, there's a million more things that we could talk about, and I suspect that we will. But we've reached our time. So, Ryan, man, I'm just so impressed with how you're choosing to show up, man. And I'm so glad that you did show up in my world, serendipitously. Again, Chris, we're going to have a word on that. And hey, what's next for you, man? What's coming up?
I got a team race, which is 3-person. We have to stick together for 81 miles around the Salton Sea in Cali. So that's going to be tough.
I don't understand. When you have to stick together, I don't get it. Like, are they in a car?
I'm sorry. So they're
when you're running, what are they doing?
Yeah, we're all running together as a team, right next to each other, 81 miles. And if Roberto, guy from Italy I'm running with, if he drops out, our team's done. So if he breaks his
oh my God! Can we have a talk after that? Because that is a whole new psychology, dude. That's a game changer right there. Because now other people are depending on you. Mm-hmm. That reminds me of an interview that I did. Did you see the interview I did with David Jack? Okay, find that, dude. Find that. Find the one with David Jack. He's a physical trainer and he's amazing. And we talk. I tell in the introduction of him in the podcast. I talk about a story that changed my life when a dedication, right? He dedicated something to me. And you're going to love this story. Go find it because it's all about we had just finished exercising. I was completely out of juice. He challenged me, got my face. He goes, I dedicate this last hill to you. And you'll see what happens next. So that's what's going on. That's so fascinating. We have to reconnect after you do that. When is that?
I'm coming out to Arizona again for my birthday, April 6th. So
okay, maybe we'll do a live interview. When is this 3-man race?
So it's in April, April 29th.
So it's after that. Okay.
Right.
All right. Great. Look, if people want to follow you, man, I'm sure a lot of people listen to this and go, "Holy shit, this 20-year-old kid is incredible." I'd like to follow him, where do you recommend they go to do that?
So I'm really active on Instagram. My Instagram tag handle is Langebanga, LANGEUHBANG.
Hold on. Can you slow that down? Dude.
Sorry.
Yeah, well,
I'm
you know,
fast.
you're an ultramarathoner, okay? You're too
Yeah,
fast.
exactly.
So what is it? LANGE?
LANGEUHBANGUH. It's my
All
high
right,
school nickname.
we'll put that in here.
Okay.
Langebang, so it's at Langebang, that's I-M. Where else are you?
And then I have my website, ryanflang.com.
And Lang is, again, Lange.
Yep.
ryanflang.com. But you got, okay, great. Cool, man. Brother, thank you, man. Keep it
That
up,
was
dude.
awesome.
Really appreciate it.
I appreciate that.
All right, take care, bud.
Talk to you.